Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves in October said that while we are pained and anguished at the crimes and violence in our land, all hands must be on deck to curb this problem that is plaguing our country.
Undoubtedly, we are pained and anguished at the blight of violence, crime, perpetrated largely through the use and misuse of guns and bullets by a small group of young men. This affects not only the victims and their families, but all of us in this small geographic space called St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Clearly, the solution to criminal violence is not a matter only for the government and the police force. All hands must be on deck, including centrally all the institutions of the state, the family, the schools, the churches, the media, the political parties, the non-governmental groups, and the communities themselves.
Victor Scott, who was shot in the head not too far from his home and died on the spot in Mount Cabbage area of Sion Hill on Friday, November 4th, 2016, was murder number 27 for the year. Scott was the first murder for November, following 10 murders in October. On November 15th, all of SVG and the diaspora mourned to learn of the killing of 4 persons of similar styles by one man, Jeronnie Baptiste, accused. There are Nicholas Lane, a male in his early 30s, who was attacked in the public road of Coco, Camden Park. Pamela Williams of Kingston Park, who was in her 50s, Avis Israel, 74-year-old, and her son Ronald Israel, in their early 40s, both of Old Montrose. At 11 p.m. November 13th, 2016, the police received a 911 call that someone was killing someone at Coco Camden Park. When the police arrived at the scene, Lane was discovered in the public road lifeless with 2 stab wounds to the chest, beat marks about his body, and blunt force trauma to the head. Later, at 1:24 p.m. Monday, November 14th, 2016, the police received a call of an incident at Kingston Park involving Williams. When the police arrived, Williams was found motionless in bed with blunt force trauma to the head. The Israels were discovered yesterday about 9 a.m. with blunt force trauma to the head. These homicides bring to the total number of homicides for the year 31. Acting Prime Minister Sir Louis Straker labeled the killings of the 4 persons as senseless and said that any suspicious activities should be reported to the police at all times.
Our nation is in a state of mourning over these senseless killings. The Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Honorable Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who is presently out of state attending the COP22, that's the climate change meeting in Morocco, has expressed his profound sadness on the untimely death of these 4 loved ones. He will be attempting to make direct contact with the aggrieved families. I, too, will express my condolences to all the families. I have already done so in the case of 3 of them. So on behalf of the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I express sincerest condolences to the 4 families affected by this tragedy. The public is, however, reassured that there is no need to be unduly alarmed and that any suspicious activity should be immediately reported to the police.
Sir Louis Straker added that such acts bring profound grief to all Vincentians.
I want us to realize that whenever in the course of our history or our experience we are faced with the level of criminality of such a diabolical proportion as we have experienced on Sunday night, then the whole nation is turned to mourning. The tragic and senseless killings of 4 people without any provocation without any cause. People who are minding their own business. In the space of less than 8 hours, we know that it brings profound grief to all of us.
He also asked that all churches give their support to the families of the victims.
I am calling on all Vincentians. I am calling on all the churches in this country, which would include the Christian Council, to make sure that they lift up these families in their prayers and they give them as much support as they possibly can, because indeed this is a terrible crime that has been committed against these people, and these families have been plunged into deep mourning. We trust that God may sustain them in this hour of their bereavement, that they would be strong because we are there for them, that God would enclose them and embrace them and comfort them because they need such consolation and such comfort at such a time.
About 9:50 p.m. on Tuesday, November 15th, 2016, police launched an investigation into the murder of local football player Sean Dopwell, a 40-year-old male of Paul's Avenue, who became victim number 32 at Victoria Park after attending a football game when he was attacked by an unknown assailant outside the park. The 33rd murder for the year was victim Edgar Reed of Bookament. The 60-year-old shopkeeper received a bullet to the forehead about 7:40 p.m. on Wednesday, November 16, 2016, during a robbery at his business place. Between November 16th to the 21st, the number was then again risen to 34 brutal killings in SVG for 2016. Police officers attached to the Rapid Response Unit, the RRU, and the drug squad swooped down on Paul's Avenue on Friday the 25th of November in reaction to the murder rate in the country. On November 28th, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, speaking to the media, maintained that St. Vincent and the Grenadines remains a peaceful country, while stating that such killings are painful and senseless. At the annual Independence Day parade, Honorable Dr. Gonsalves said that although it can be challenged, citizen security is sound.
Still, even amidst the dangers of criminal violence, our country remains safe. And citizen security, though challenged, is sound. Overwhelmingly, our people of all ages, sex, and social condition are law-abiding, peaceful, and good-natured. And the violent criminals are given no supportive space in our communities, save and except from a few criminally connected persons.
Acting Deputy Commissioner of Police Colin John says that the time has come for a revision of the death penalty in the country, saying that criminals are committing deadly crimes with knowledge that they will not face the death penalty. John admitted that the death penalty alone cannot stop killings and said that efforts must now be placed on the issue and the use of CCTV cameras and the traditional methods of persons coming forward and giving information to the police. John said that there are a number of opportunistic criminals and that the idea of witness protection is something that needs to be looked at, since persons are often fearful of coming forward to be witnesses in criminal matters. About 6:30 a.m. December 21st, a man accused of attacking a police officer with a cutlass was shot and killed in Pollard, Arnesville. Dead is 35-year-old Pollard, Arnesville resident Desroy Turkey Richards. And while police say that he attacked them, witnesses have a different version of the event. A release from the Police Public Relations Department said that the preliminary investigations are that the police officer approached and informed Richards that he was wanted as a suspect in relation to a November 23rd robbery with a cutlass as well as a series of burglaries. It is reported that Richards grabbed a cutlass and attacked the police officer. The police officer immediately fired a warning shot into the air, but Richards continued his charge at the police officer and had to be neutralized, according to the police report. He received a bullet wound to his side and was immediately rushed to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital by police officers, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The 37th murder also took place on the 21st of December yesterday in Langley Park, where Vancito Cito Balcom was stabbed to death. I am Jeronnie Richardson reporting.